please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Well, it looks like we are in for good opening, and individual stocks could still dominate the overall action. Mr. Tulsian, thoughts on JM Financial? If you have studied the stock, the entire sector has done well, but a big move on JM Financial and backed by strong delivery volumes as well.
See, Anuj, in fact, JM Financial also, along with Motilal Oswal, Edelweiss and India IFL Holdings have been, seeing buying for last 1 year, and I don't have the details at how much it has really grown or risen. But if you really see the kind of, change in the revenue mix of the company and the increase in their profitability and more focus on the core areas is making the stocks. And in fact, this was always a neglected stocks, because if you see prior to 1 year, people were taking it as a non-growth, or no growth seen having come into the financial working and all that. But now getting re-rated because of the PE expansion and because of the PE expansion of the sector, re-rating of these all broking come NBFC stocks and the renewed buying scene coming in. So I think that the valuations have been catching up because of that, and the renewed buying is making the stocks to move on.
Mr. Tulsian, coming back to that point, Meghmani just told us that they are expecting a 5% improvement in the margin in their caustic soda business because of the way prices are moving. Is Meghmani a good stock to play? Can you look at something like Asahi Songwan? What is the best chemical stock considering the environment now?
See, Surbhi, again we make this mistake by using the word loosely as chemical stocks. Now since you have referred the matter of caustic soda, first come on that who are all the caustic soda maker. If I just name 3 companies, Gujarat Alkali, Grasim and DCM Shriram Limited, having a capacity of 5 lakh to 8 lakh ton per annum. I don't know the capacity of Meghmani Organics. It may not be more than 30-40,000 per annum. And against that, these 3 companies have 10 times the capacity. If you see the prices of caustic soda having risen in this last about 6 months or so because of the huge demand. Now, if you see I've heard management saying, this Meghmani saying, because if you make the caustic soda, you need salt and power. You have to go for the electrolytic process of salt. You have to heat it. You need the huge energy. Maybe about 45% cost of production is energy, and you make 55% as caustic soda, 45% as chlorine. And 45% chlorine and caustic soda, you need to take the combined realization. So if you are focusing on caustic soda or chloralkali stock, these are the 3 stocks. I may add Sri Rayala, Sima, and maybe the other small caustic soda players also. Meghmani Organics is into a different space. They are into pesticide, specialty chemical, industrial chemical. Yes, they have combination and they are firing on all cylinders. I have referred that in the past. Take for example phthalic anhydride. 2 companies, IG Petro and Thirumalai Chemicals, which you have recommended about 1 year back, have grown by 4 to 5x, 4 to 500%. Take the case of the dye intermediaries, maybe like Bagheria Industries, Akshar Chem, Bodil Chemical, Kiri Industries have all risen by about maybe 5 to 8 times in last 24 months, because they are dye intermediates. They are catering more to the pigments. Now people loosely include everything in the same category of chemical. So you have to be very specific which segment of chemical you are looking at. Suppose if you are looking for soda ash, then you have to go for Gujarat Heavy Chemical and Tata Chemical. So I think you just, but fortunately what is happening, that 80% of this industrial chemical and bulk chemicals are seeing good amount of profitability, and that is why the investors are able to make money across the board in spite of not taking the minute product classification call. And fortunate enough, they are making the way of taking a call on the stocks. Take the last segment, that is pigment. Those who are using these dye intermediates and all that, probably it will be expensive for them, but still even they are doing quite well, like the case of Asahi Songwan, since you have referred. So again, my request that you need to be very specific that which chemical segment you are looking to, and what are the production capacity, and what is the size and presence of the particular company or the market share in that segment.
Okay, we're just coming to you, Mr. Tulsian, for your long-term bet. The market's opened a little stronger for the rupee. The dollar is cheaper by about 8 pice. And the stock markets are opening at least about 0.5% higher. Still adjusting, of course, finding their feet. So now a little bit of profit taking as well. But it does look like a gap up opening, not as big as perhaps the SGX Nifty led us to believe. But I think we have to allow the markets to settle down. Maybe Coal India is another stock that we have to look at. The wage agreement was largely in line with what analysts were telling us before the agreement. About 18 to 22% was what people were talking about. And that seemed to be exactly what Coal India has given by way of wage hikes. That stock is absolutely flat. Bharti Infratel is another stock you should look at, because the sale of this tower company and potential relief for Bharti is on the cards. Maybe we want even Bharti and check out whether that stock is showing any relief. Actually, even Idea would, because that would be a little bit of cash coming in to all these companies if the deal is near fruition. We'll have to wait and see. But those are the stocks that should be on your list.
You know, I'll just add a couple more. If the pre-open rates are to be believed, Adani Transmission is on another run of sorts today. Right now it's showing up a 10% up move. So let's see how that plays out. Some of the sugar stocks that we've been discussing, they're showing some more momentum, at least in the pre-open. Balrampur, Praj, Triveni, these stocks are still showing some green. Uttam Galva, 9% up. There are sort of indications that there are plenty of buyers for some of these stressed steel companies, including promoters themselves. And some statements have been made by the management. And that stock is getting a little excited as well. Anuj?
63 moons. I think that's an interesting stock. 20% on that stock. I think 47% for this week. If our director can just somehow pull this stock, 63 moons is the stock that we are referring to.
Okay.
Okay, so I think let's just refresh it. It's 120 now. I think that rate is not refreshed, so that's interesting. TVS Electronic, of course, a circuit-to-circuit stock, so another 10% on that. We're talking about GM's numbers, and as is normally the case, the other country liquor stocks are doing well. So Pincon Spirit is up about almost 10% right now. Biocon would be an interesting stock to watch. Yesterday had a big move. Let's see if that could continue in today's trade.
Yes, it does.
So that's also, I mean, I may not open 7%, but that's an interesting stock to look at.
Okay, I think we still have to go through one of the strategies with Amit Gupta as well and get Mr. Tulsian's long-term bet. Amit, GSFC is a stock on which you have a trade?
Yeah, so we are buying a 140 call option of GSFC. So the reason being, if you look at the month of August, there was almost 65% of open interest addition, which was clearly in the long side, and that came near the price of 130. The stock moved up and then came down closer to these levels, but those positions remain intact. And we saw a very good rollover actually from September to October series of GSFC long positions. And now if you look at the current series, another 5% addition we have seen just in the last session. So my sense is it is gearing up for a breakout now, and it has already been consolidating for the last 6 to 7 months in this range above 120, 130 levels. So now 140 call, if you look at, there has been a good buying happening there. The IVs have suddenly spotted. So that means the OTM call options, now this was OTM, but in the yesterday session it became almost ATM. So my sense is it is moving towards 155. So better buy the call option where the premiums are still lower looking at the IV pattern, because just recently only it has started moving up. So my sense is it may be a good trade in the coming sessions. Another thing is GNFC, which is not in F&O. So that stock has been performing much better, and GSFC holds almost 20% stake in that stock. So there may be, some pullback because of that thing also.
Okay. All right, Amit. Thanks so much for giving us those trading ideas this morning. You have a good day. Mr. Tulsian, let me get back to you. What is the long-term fundamental bet you have for us?
See, this is a very unique stock. I don't think that anyone has heard and, have any kind of research or seen on this stock. The stock is IST Limited. Let me first give that this is catering to auto ancillary, consumer durables and medical field. And let me give you the details probably which will not get accepted. On a consolidated basis for FY17, company has posted top line of 101 crore, EBITDA of 70 crore. And if you say that this can be just one-off, let me take you to the previous year, FY16 top line 79 crore, EBITDA 56 crore. That means EBITDA margin of closer to 70%. Come on the other income, 21 crore in FY17, 24 crore in FY16. How this other income comes? Companies holding 150 crore tax-free bonds in PSUs, maybe like NTPC, REC, Indian Railway. So they are roughly incurring, making a interest income of tax-free interest income of about 12 to 13 crore on those 150 crore. Company has real estate of book value of 70 crore on which they are earning interest, earning rental income of about 878 crore every year. And the net present value, I don't have the exact detail where those properties are located, but it is told that the net present value of those properties are about 200 to 250 crore. So because including EBITDA and other income, that the PAT is 82 crore, translating into EPS of 140 for FY17 against 121 for FY16. Now come on the financials. Equity is 5.85 crore, face value of 10 rupees. Promoter stake is 75%. Book value on 31st March 18 will be 1030, exactly where the share price is now ruling at 1030. As I said, that tax-free bonds and all these properties are giving a cash equivalent per share of 360 rupees. So if you calculate the P multiple on the entire amount, it works out at 7 P. Or if you net off this cash and tax-free bonds and all that, it works out at 4.5. And companies making supplying to Maruti, General Motors of US, Ucal Fuel, here in the two-wheeler they are making carburetors, they are making fuel injection parts, and they are developing they are supplying to the North American market also through their two subsidiaries which are mainly export oriented. So taking all this into consideration, share now ruling at 1030 can move to a level of 1230 in next 6 months. In fact, I've given a target of 6 months, but I hope that probably the target can get achieved much quicker than the time of 6 months.
Oh yes, that's an interesting stock. I'm hearing it for the first time. Mr. Tulsian, thanks a lot for that stock idea and for your time today. That's IST Limited, up 20% in pre-open. We'll track that stock for sure. 63 Moons, of course, is the erstwhile Financial Technologies. That is a stock which is now locked on upper circuit as far as the pre-open is concerned. Pre-open rates, by the way, have now started to settle. Okay, they have settled. 25 points higher on the Nifty, 64 points higher on the Bank Nifty, and mid-cap index once again looks like could outperform, at least for starters. IGL is up 2%. That was, of course, our experts' call this morning. Ashwini, thoughts on pre-open? Any trade that you would have in mind, either on the Nifty or on the Bank Nifty?
See, Nifty will buy, but like I said, you will buy on a 20-point dip post the open. I don't think buying the open will lead to great rewards. As far as individual stocks are concerned, Edelweiss is a buy with a stop of 270, target of 285.
Okay, well, actually, it's again looking like a mid-cap day.
A mid-cap day, yeah.
0.5% gain, and I think, Anuj, you were talking about it. The expected gainers, Uttam Galva, that you pointed out. Besides there being a steel tailwind as well, Prakash Industries has been doing well for the longest time. Steel companies also up and about. Cochin Shipyard got a big order yesterday from the Indian Navy. That's starting higher. The gas stocks are continuing with their good work. So it does look like it will be a mid-cap kind of day. Well, we still have a few minutes for the markets to start trading. These are pre-opening rates and bids. So let's listen into another interesting conversation. Anshu Sharma, our colleague, caught up with N.K. Verma, the chairman and manager of OVL, that is the ONGC Videsh. This is at the sidelines of the Sera Week, which is the big energy forum currently underway in Delhi. She began by asking him about the key points of the Prime Minister's meeting on investment to scale up investments in the oil and gas space. Let's listen to the slice of that conversation.
One theme actually was being talked about was integrated energy policy, where the 7 elements of the energy mix are to be brought in harmony and synchronization to provide the seamless solution for the energy requirement of India.
In terms of asset, where does OVL stand? Do you have plans for this year? How many acquisitions can we expect this year?
Actually, we are working on the Perspective Plan 2030, where ONGC Videsh is having very aggressive targets. And the first milestone was 2018, where doubling the production from 9 MMT. So already we have reached to 14 MMT plus this year. And in last 3 years, we have a 70% jump. And we are working aggressively towards meeting that goal. But of course, new challenges and new realities we are facing now in terms of the global volatility in the oil prices, and also restructuring of the industry as a whole. And also so many geopolitical triggers at this moment in Middle East and other part of the world are there. So So we have to handle those things along with our acquisition targets and the milestones what we are aspiring to achieve.
How will the synergy of two entities which will be acquired and merged together will work out, and is there anything being talked about for OVL?
Are you referring to the HPCL and ONGC? Of course, I am not part of that whole process, but definitely in the long-term perspective, the exposure for a company in upstream and downstream provides a natural hedge. So from that point of view, HPCL and ONGC coming together will provide a natural hedge for the group. And so far we had 15 MMT of the capacity in refining in through MRPL, and that will be augmented with the matching volume for the upstream production. So I think that will be good in the long term, but of course fiscal and contractual issues and HR issues have to be handled. But what I am hearing in the media itself that HPCL will be maintained as a separate entity within the group, so there should not be much problem on that front.
Okay, well, the pre-open rates, as we pointed out, settled with decent rates. Some of the stocks which are top gainers are, some of the picks our experts have chosen, like IGL, GSFC, even Petronet, Jubilant Foodworks, Axis Bank. So, could be an interesting day for some of these stocks. Sugar clearly is a sector which could have follow through in today's trade as well. Mitesh, I wanted your thoughts on DHFL. It's turned very volatile after, being one of the strongest stocks.
See, my sense is that I think, after outperforming in the early part of September and then till I think, later part of it, I think the stock is just getting into some kind of consolidation. I would still put this stock as a range-bound kind of a trade. 525 on the downside, about 570, 75 on the upside should be the range. And I think it's still more of a buy trade, if it comes down towards the lower end of the range.
Okay. We just want to give you a heads up on another important economic event, which is that Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council, the one that was appointed on September 25th, is scheduled to meet today. The maiden meeting is at about 2 o'clock and there'll be a press conference at 2:30. Just to remind you of the guys who are involved, Vivek Debroy, Chairman, Surjit Bhalla, Ratin Roy and what's her name, Ashima Goyal are the members, and it'll be interesting to see what they say in their maiden meeting. Their terms of reference was all macroeconomic advice and anything that the PM may assign them. Now, it's a very mixed bag. Everybody would watch whether they will advise fiscal stimulus. Now, Ratin Roy is a fiscal hawk. It is unlikely that he will ever allow, he was member of the FRBM committee. He wouldn't like fiscal looseness. Or they may say something about bank recapitalization. I do not know. But the point is, these are the things we should watch out for. At 2:30 is the press conference. Let us see if this is another macro market moving event at all. I doubt you will get too much of fiscal looseness from a committee like this, but we'll have to wait and see.
I guess it'll be good also, Lata. I mean, finally, there is a council which has come together, maybe just to get their assessment of the economy, an independent assessment, apart from what the RBI has said. Perhaps it'll be interesting. We are just about a minute away from
I just wanted one question from our guests. Sudarshan Axis Bank. It's been doing well, and it got a buck up from one of the brokerages as well in terms of a price upgrade. What are your thoughts?